Good evening and welcome to the second Ungleich Tech Talk. Today's topic is how to access IPv4 only devices via IPv6. So why do we want to do this and what is going on here anyway? Assume for a moment that you are in an IPv6 enabled network, which I think nowadays is kind of a reasonable thing. Then you get a new device, let's say this router here, and this router is in a standard configuration as you get it from any vendor. So it has a random IPv4 address, usually statically assigned. Now, what we could be doing is we could change our devices in our network to configure them and to be in the network of this device. But in the end, it is not really comfortable, and if I have to change my main notebook to do this, then I don't have internet access anymore and working really gets cumbersome. So I'm looking for a, let's say, a generic way of addressing IPv4 only devices without necessarily reconfiguring the network, and also to be able to access the IPv4 device from a lot of different IPv6 devices. How we're going to solve this is by using a so-called Nut64 Translator. So if you have a look here, if we are in the IPv6 internet and we want to access any IPv4 only device, we can do so via a so-called Nut64 Translator. And how this works is we map, for instance, a network to, like an IPv6 network, to an IPv4 network. And the problem is here we have this imbalance. Like we have a lot of IPv6 addresses, so much more that we cannot map them to IPv4. I mean, that's the whole point of IPv6. So what we need to do is we kind of need to squash down the whole IPv6 internet to one IP address, to one IPv4 address. And you actually know this. And this is the same thing that we do day and day with NUT or masquerading. We always want to squash down a lot of IP addresses into one IP address. Just in this case, we squash down the whole IPv6 internet to one IPv4 address. A bit crazy, but that's what we're going to do. So again, we have this device here, currently stock, doesn't have any IPv6, and it has the IP address, I know this, 192.168.1.1. Then I also have here one of our small VIWIBs. Here it has a cable already connected in the WAN port. This is for getting IPv6 network, IPv6 connectivity via the IPv6 VPN. And you can see that the LAN port here is still free. So first thing we will do is we will try to ping it. So it's vwip13.ungleich.ch and it pings. That's a great thing. Perfect. So next step is I'll use this standard LAN cable here. I'm plugging it into the LAN port of the VIWIB. And here on this device, I have a lot of ports. I will just use any random of the LAN ports. And now I will SSH into the VIWIB. The VIWIB here is playing our Nut64 Translator. Okay, I can log in. I have OpenWrt. That's quite nice. And I actually have prepared it already to be a Nut64 Translator. We have seen before here that the VIWIB has the IPv6 address 2A0A E5C1 6OD::42. So what we always do with a VIWIB is we give it a /48 network. So the whole range 6OD here belongs to the VIWIB. What I have done is in the etc rc local script, which is being executed on start, I've configured the VIWIB to modprobe YOL, and YOL is in kernel module that allows us to do Nut64 translation. The cool thing about YOL is, if I just tell YOL, hey, I have a so-called IPv6 pool, and that pool is the 6od:/boo or B00 network /96, then YOL will do the right thing if I translate towards the IPv4 area. So what I will do, first of all, I will just pick a random IP address in the network of the IPv4 only device. So I say IP address at 192.168.1, let's say 42/24. Also looks nice. And we will add it to the bridge. I actually did this before. So I will show def via LAN. Right, this is from testing before, so it's already there. So we ensure now that the VIWIB can actually ping the IPv4 only device. That's great. So now you could argue and say like, wait. Now I've, instead of configuring my notebook, I just configure the VIWIB. That's true, but the major difference here is I can give the VIWIB all kinds of standard IP addresses. Let's say I was also IP address at 10.0.0, I don't know, 42/24. So if I now have a device that lives in the 10.0.0.0/24 network, it will work the same. So I can give the VIWIB all kind of standard IPv4 addresses or networks. I will try to avoid the typical assigned IP addresses so that I am in the network of potential devices, but I'm not using the default IP address. I can continue like this here and do all those kind IP addresses. Point is now, here, this on the, let me show you the terminal. So here on this machine, this terminal, I'm on my local machine. And I actually do have IPv4 addresses here, but I'm in a different network. And I do have an IPv6 address. That's much more important here. So how do I get from my notebook, which is not connected to the IPv4 only device, how do I get there? Well, the logic is quite easy. So we go back to the VIWIB here. And we've seen this is our IPv6 pool that we configured. The cool thing is IPv6, I mean, in some regards it's crazy, yes, but IPv6 was designed so that you can just append or embed IPv4 addresses. So we can just do this. We say : boo or B00, 160, 192, 168, 142 would be the IP address of the VIWIB after translation. So let's see whether this works. And it does. So this might not look very impressive to you, but what is happening here? This is really, really cool. I'm pinging the IP address 192.168.142 that is local to the VIWIB, which is itself, via IPv6. This is really, really cool. So, but this is not what we wanted to do. So what we wanted to do is we want to reach the other device. And this is now really cool. So I can ping 192.168.1.1, which is mapped by YOL in this prefix. So I will be able to try to ping it now. And I can ping it. Well, that is not all I can do. Let's try if I can actually SSH into it. And I can. And this is actually, as you can see, it is a VGear, or soon to be VGear, that is there. So this is, you know, you might not even anticipate right now like how amazing this is. So we will do a little bit more fun here. So let's say we're pinging this device. Fair enough. Let me become root here on my machine. So what happens here, ignore the neighbor advertisements, is that my computer is sending out ICMP6 or ICMP6 echo requests and replies. Obviously, here's a reply and there's a request. So I'm sending ICMP6, and this is important because this is a subtype of IPv6 and doesn't exist in the IPv4 world. If we now go back to the VIWIB, we will do also a TCP dump on the BLLAN interface, and we look for ICMP, and there we see that supposedly the VIWIB is pinging the IPv4 only device. Isn't that cool? And the point is here, we can do this with any device. And you have to think about this in a really wider scope. This is just one device here. But imagine the following. You're running IPv6 only networks. Why? Because it's fun, because it makes a lot of sense and makes your life easy. Now you have equipment that doesn't work with IPv6, but you still want to be able to manage it via IPv6. So what you can do is you take one of these, it doesn't have to be this one, but this one just works. You take one of these devices, you put it in the network. On one side, it has IPv6. On the other side, it will have IPv4. It will do the translation. And for you as an operator, it's completely native. You can just, access all your IPv4 only devices via IPv6. And this is great because it gives you like one stack for all your maintenance. It gives you one protocol for carrying out. It gives you one protocol that you need to firewall. It makes things so much easier. You can really operate in IPv6 only environments, even if you have IPv4 only devices. For us here at Ungleich, this was a major change because before we had, let's say, a minor amount of devices that we would still keep IPv4 networks alive for. Right now, what we do is whenever we have an IPv4 only device, we just use one of the VIWIBs, put it in front of it, and it maps to the IPv4 device. So we don't have to care about old equipment, or not even old, just equipment that doesn't necessarily work with IPv6. The nice thing, it is bidirectional. So the IPv4 only device can also connect outside via IPv6. It just doesn't know about it. This is a really, really nice thing. So that's from my side. I hope you enjoyed the second Ungleich Tech Talk. As usual, I don't know if you can say as usual in the second one, but as usual, we would like to hear from you, how you like it. If you have any feedback, you can find us on the IPv6.chat or all the other usual medium. Thanks again for listening, and I wish you a good evening. Bye bye.